The South African Cemeteries Association is calling on municipalities to prepare for increased deaths due to COVID-19. The association says the country is currently not well equipped for mass burials or cremations. More on this, we're joined by the chairman, Pepe Das. Very good morning to you, Pepe Das. What is it that you are expecting here?
Hi, Jane. Look, I mean, I think it's not a case of what we're expecting. It's what we're learning from international experience. And the numbers are alarming. What we were basically doing was the service we normally provide to municipalities, try to capacitate municipalities, officials, get them ready for any eventuality. So around the 28th of March, we issued a guideline to municipalities that are on our database, advising them to get prepared. Basically, in the eventuality we faced with a worst case scenario, instead of them trying to get around identifying at the last minute a solution to burying people, go now and find your graves. Look at pieces of land, because that actually poses a problem right now for municipalities, having sufficient graves for normal conditions. So in the eventuality that we're going to see a spike in the death rate, are you in readiness to bury these bodies?
No, I mean, land has always been a problem, even prior to this. So where do they look?
Look, there are pieces of land that, under normal circumstances, given the environmental impact issues, we would not use. What we were saying is, if there's a piece of land that we could mitigate in some way the environmental impact, identify these pieces of land and put in place the mitigating factors, and use those pieces of land if it's absolutely necessary. I mean, experiences show, what we're learning now, mostly through social media, and of course through some of the news networks, is there are some countries that are preparing for this. It was interesting to see that Uzbekistan have already started digging mass graves. Iran itself, was one of the first countries to experience huge numbers and the spike of death, had also started to dig mass graves. So, I mean, that's basically the worst case scenario, when you have to start digging mass graves to treat, a couple of thousand bodies at one time.
And what about crematoriums? I mean, we're sadly lacking of those in South Africa, aren't we? And many of them are not working as well as they should.
Yeah, look, ideally that would be the way that one could deal with the treatment of corpses that have been infected with COVID-19, with the coronavirus. But in South Africa, there are not too many crematoria available to actually, handle this. The South African public, in the majority, prefer to bury. So if one had to look at using crematoria, we're not going to cope with the anticipated numbers. So
what are the rules surrounding burying somebody who has died because of the virus?
Look, there's not much information right now in terms of how long the virus will last within the body, and with regards to burial. But what we could anticipate is that the bodies that will be coming through would be in plastic, and hopefully there'd be a barrier to reduce infection. And possibly later, if there's more information, it might be accessible if families want to exhume and bring these bodies into family graves. That would be much later. But currently, there's very little known, so we've got to treat these bodies as a potential for infection. And there has to be, a proper protocol in place when we're burying. So we've actually guided our membership around those issues, in terms of, trying to have the proper PPEs in place to reduce the rate of infection. Look, you asked me the earlier question with regards to cremation, and we had come through early on as the association to say that we need to start looking at alternatives, and we had made the call much earlier to South Africans, start re-looking at the way you handle these issues, and we are now thrown into a situation where it asks for these kind of solutions. So hopefully this is a learning curve for us, and it's a horrible way to learn.
But a smart move, being prepared. Pip, it does very good to talk to you. Thank you.